all the abuses that in our communities, sometimes we need to pick up the smudge and to let everybody know it's okay to, to ask for prayers or to ask for a helping hand.
Tonight, a pair of inner city groups in Winnipeg and supporters smudge the streets.
The BC Wildfire Service has been responding vigorously to wildfires throughout the province, putting out over 100 fires in the past week.
Cooler weather in British Columbia is helping as more than 100 wildfires continue to burn.
Not just like the artists that are up and coming, but also the artists that are established have taken a serious buy-in to the messaging behind the festival.
And thousands of people and some big-name acts turn out for this year's edition of Wake the Giant in Thunder Bay. Tansin itute mag Tier Wheatley Nisigasun Opaskoyak Uchi. Tawaw, welcome to APTN National News. Cooler weather in British Columbia has given the advantage to wildfire crews. However, there are still 142 burning across the province. With 142 wildfires raging throughout BC, the province continues to issue air quality warnings and evacuation alerts with 13 full evacuation orders throughout south central BC. 58 of these fires are listed as out of control according to the BC Wildfire Service website. However, they are also calling for rain in some areas and cooler temperatures that could help get the upper hand in battling the blazes. Air quality warnings have been lifted in many areas over the last few days. The Mine Creek fire that completely shut down the Kukalhala highway is still rated as out of control due to steep terrain and dry conditions.
But we should expect to see wildfire smoke come south in the days ahead. Weather forecasters are saying that the smoke is going to be a major factor in the next 24 to 72 hours. There are already reports of smoke hitting communities. We do expect more smoke to arrive in the central and southern interior tonight or tomorrow and reach Abbotsford and the coast by Friday. The BC Wildfire Service has been responding vigorously to wildfires throughout the province, putting out over 100 fires in the past week.
The Yukon RCMP says it's continuing an investigation into a missing First Nations man. Fox Ellerick, who is also known as Keith Atlin, was last seen in Whitehorse's Riverdale neighborhood on July 18th. He was last spotted wearing a black hoodie and a black hat. Ellerick is described as 30 years old with short, shaved black hair and a black mustache. He's approximately 5 foot 10 inches tall and 210 pounds. He may be wearing headphones and prescription glasses. Police say Fox Ellerick remains missing despite the following up on numerous leads. Anyone who may have information on Ellerick's whereabouts is encouraged to contact their local police or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. Mi'kmaq land protectors are outraged after the roadblock they set up at the base of Hunter's Mountain in Unamagi, Mi'kmaq for Cape Breton has been removed and replaced with RCMP cruisers. The land protectors blocked the road last week to prevent any wood from leaving the mountain and seized wood from one logging truck. They say clear cutting is threatening the moose population and traditional medicines, calling for the provincial government to consult with the Mi'kmaq to save the forest. The Mi'kmaq say removing the roadblock has hindered talks. In a press release, RCMP say the Mi'kmaq agreed to leave peacefully this morning and no arrests were made. Ashton Bernard is a father, hunter, and fisherman from the Eskasoni First Nation.
We do have a duty to protect these lands. This is unceded Mi'kmaq territory, and these corporations clearly are protected more than the Mi'kmaq. If we try doing that, the Mi'kmaq will be criminalized.
We want to hear what you think about our stories. Here's how to continue the conversation. If you have a story you want to share, send us an email to news@aptn.ca. You can read and watch our stories at aptnnews.ca. Also go find us online on your favorite social media sites, including TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, and X. Follow APTN News to join the conversation and see our latest stories. It's time now for a quick break. The Toronto International Film Festival kicked off this past weekend. We tell you about an Indigenous woman's documentary about the 60s scoop after the break, plus A parade in Winnipeg's core with culture at the center, from medicine picking to smudging and lessons in between.
Always been an opportunity for community to come together, to take care of one another, to offer care to one another.
Pitigwe, Pitigwe. The 50th annual Toronto International Film Festival kicked off over the weekend. Movie buffs and TIFF supporters have a huge selection of close to 300 films from all corners of the world to view. Tash Hubbard's film Meadowlarks premiered on Sunday night. The film is inspired by her own acclaimed 60s scoop documentary, Birth of a Family. Meadowlarks stars Alex Rice, Michelle Thrush, Carmen Moore, and Michael Greyeyes. They play 4 Cree siblings who were separated since childhood. Now in their 50s, they meet for the first time over a holiday weekend in Banff. According to Hubbard, it was emotional for the audience.
It was, it was lovely and overwhelming. And I don't know if I've fully processed yet the way in which it is connecting to people, how people are able, even if the child removal system isn't their experience, there's something in the film around our very shared human need to feel that belonging, to feel connected to each other.
Organizers of Thunder Bay's Wake the Giant Music Festival are calling this year's event the best one yet. Around 8,500 people attended the event, which serves as a fundraiser and awareness campaign for Dennis Franklin Cromarty High School. The school hosts Indigenous students from across Ontario. Many are far from Northern First Nations, and they have never ventured outside their community. APTN's Mike McDonald reports.
Hey! Let's have some fun today! Wake the giant! Woo, woo, woo!
The Wake the Giant Music Festival got off to a roaring start with drums and jingle dresses kicking off the event and the school year for students at Dennis Franklin Cromarty High School. Organizers say not only was this the best attended festival, but also the highest participation rate from the artists involved.
Not just like the artists that are up and coming, but also the artists that are established have taken a serious buy-in to the messaging behind the festival and really interacted with the kids throughout the whole process of this, whether it's through workshops or interviews or podcasts and all that stuff. They're doing meet and greets today. They're getting to hang out with them. It's really cool this year.
Blues and country music artist Crystal Shawanda, who's from the Wikwemikong First Nation, was among this year's performers. She says the festival's cause hits home.
It means a lot to be able to play this festival. You know, I relate a lot to these Indigenous students who, who are just leaving home for the first time. When I was 13 years old, I left my family, my community, so that I could go to a school that had better opportunities. And so I know what it's like to be homesick, to be lonely, the culture shock.
The Poets, a tragically hip tribute band from Moose Factory, Ontario, say the festival and the overall message of truth and reconciliation resonates with them.
Well, I think that this festival and the true message of it is bringing together all the peoples in this city and beyond to support these kids at Dennis Franklin Cromarty, because they're scared, they're nervous, they miss home, they're homesick. So we got to hold them and comfort them as the city of Thunder Bay can. And this is our message as well, is that the youth truly are the future leaders of this country.
I've got a bunch of kids that living in a northern community, and they've 3 of them went out for high school as well. So I know how hard that is, right? Like, it's so hard for kids to leave their home and to come to the big city, in a sense, right? It's a struggle.
Introducing the Poets was Jared Visitor, who is representing the Gord Downey and Cheney Wenjack Fund. Cheney Wenjack was Visitor's great uncle.
A lot of time has passed, but I think he still would see the stories that are being told here. And it's the stories that, once you hear a story, that is with you for the rest of your life. So I know that the power of storytelling is something that he started, that we're continuing here today. So I think it'll be a powerful, powerful thing, yeah.
Neon Dreams took their performance into the audience, much to the delight of the fans.
A little sexual frustration, combined with lack of motivation, and a loss of concentration. I thought a strange disease.
Playing into the sunset was 90s band Prozac, performing only their second gig since the COVID-19 pandemic.
Just the whole story behind Wake the Giant, that it's actually like helping Indigenous kids that maybe don't feel like they're fitting into a strange town. We relate to that, like, in a way. Just I remember what it felt like when I was like 13, 14. So I can't imagine it'd be a lot harder when you're leaving home. So anything that can make that better and like celebrate everyone getting together, we're all about that. So I want to make it fun and memorable.
The Black Eyed Peas closed out this year's festival and even took time to meet fans. Organizers say planning is already underway for Wake the Giant 2026. Mike McDonald, APTN National News, Thunder Bay.
That looked like a great time. 2 inner-city organizations in Winnipeg smudged the streets over the weekend. This is the second year for the parade hosted by Resource Assistance for Youth and the Spence Neighborhood Association. APTN's Julia Ross attended the free event and has more.
Let everybody, breathe it all in, smudge ourselves, and just have a good time. And hopefully everybody gets some blessings from it today.
Community gathered on Saturday, September 6th to smudge the streets in Winnipeg's Spence neighborhood, which encompasses a 25-block area in the inner city.
Always been an opportunity for community to come together, to take care of one another, to offer care to one another. And, it seems to happen often at times when there's increased violence in all of our neighborhoods. And so it's a really nice antidote, and it's also a really nice reminder of our connection to one another.
For the second year in a row, the Ray Center, Resource Assistance for Youth, partnered with the Spence Neighborhood Association to organize the parade and gathering.
We live on Indigenous land. The land still supports all of us, supports all of us to come together. And so it's really important for us to learn and remember these practices that are about living in a good way with one another.
Mike Bignell, cultural coordinator for the Ray Center, says Smudge the Streets goes beyond the parade. He says the event allowed community to have the opportunity to gather their own sage and medicines beforehand.
We went medicine picking. We use it as a teaching tool throughout the year as well. We had participants and youth come out to want to go medicine picking, so we decided to use the sage as our story to go and say, okay, let's go get some medicine so we could, bless our community. Because sometimes it'll only take one little prayer for someone to realize that they're really cared for in the community.
A prayer from a knowledge sharer took place before the parade, with song from the Buffalo Crossing drum group fueling the smudgers as they walked. During the parade, people passing by asked if they could smudge and join in. With the rise of violence, substance use, and difficulties in Manitoba communities, Smudge the Streets hopes to bring a moment of peace to some and to serve as a reminder of community support.
Every community that's going through a difficult time right now, because there's gang violence, there's drug abuse, there's all the abuses that in our communities, sometimes we need to pick up the smudge and to let everybody know it's okay to ask for prayers or to ask for a helping hand.
Once the streets had been smudged, the community celebrated with a feast and round dance at the Merck Center in Winnipeg. Julia Ross, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
One last break here. When we come back, we bring you one deadly photo of the day, plus up-and-coming musician Love Tatus shares with Krishan Ajakote how important music is in her life.
For me, music was always something that I did just to express myself, and I enjoyed it, so I kept it to myself. And I was always somewhat of a closet singer, I guess you could say.
Tawau, welcome back. Time now for our photo of the day. Tom Levy snapped this photo of a grizzly bear taking a swim near Bella Coola, British Columbia. We appreciate the photo, Tom, but please stay safe. We hope you had a good zoom lens. Send your photos to share at aptn.ca for the chance to be our next photo of the day. Now let's take a look at tomorrow's weather forecast. Starting on the east, St. John 17, Fredericton 21. Kuujjuaq 10, Nain 11. Chibougamau 15, Quebec City 22. North Bay 20, Peterborough 24. Kapuskasing 15, Timmins 13. Churchill 7, God's Lake 15. Dauphin 24, Gimli 20. North Battleford 28, Yorkton 24. Uranium City 20, La Ronge 17. Over to the west, High Level 25, Peace River 26. Edmonton 29, Lethbridge 31. Bella Coola 17, Kamloops 26. Dease Lake 16, Smithers 16. Old Crow 14, Dawson 16. Norman Wells 13, Wati 11. Tuktoyaktuk 5, Inuvik 13. Cambridge Bay 6, Chesterfield 6. Arctic Bay -1, Clyde River 3. A new and upcoming musician, Love Tatus from the Poundmaker Cree Nation in Saskatchewan, is busy working on her debut album. However, she has already hit more than 100,000 streams on Spotify with her new songs Mama, Matriarch, and Relate. The Edmonton-based singer describes her sound as UK soul and grew up listening to Amy Winehouse and Juno Award-winning artist Fawn Wood. Here's Krisa Najikote with that interview with Love Tatus.
Love Tatus, thank you for speaking with us. You are currently working hard on your first big debut album, but you already hit more than 100,000 streams with your songs Mama and Matriarch and your new song Relate. Can you tell us why you wanted to pursue a career in music?
Yes, first I just want to say thank you for having me. I think the biggest thing for me was trying to find a platform of something that I could use or I could share things that I believe would help others. And through my music and through my passion of art and creativity, I found that niche for myself. I used to work with high-risk youth, and I worked different means of frontline work with mental health and stuff. And I just found that for me, carrying the same motive using music was the reason why I was like, okay, I want to do this. I want to send a good message through my music. So, yeah.
Spoken from the heart, and definitely some heart work there as well. And Love, can you tell us about where you're from and where you grew up and how that helped shape what you sing about? You talked about it a bit there.
Yeah, I grew up in a small reserve called Poundmaker Cree Nation, located in Treaty 6 territory, which we now call Saskatchewan, Canada. I grew up very humble and remote. I didn't have access to, urban living for a while, well into my 20s. So I definitely appreciate that calm style of living. It really created this beautiful narrative for me on what it is to be Indigenous and what it is to be an artist, because I think back to, living on the reserve, and it's people are so just back in the day when I used to live there, we didn't have a lot of social media and we didn't have a lot of cell phones. So it was like, you go visit your kukum, you go visit your aunties, and you spend a lot of time with your community, and, you go to all the local round dances and local powwows, and I have nothing but good things to say about it. And I think it's affected the way that I carry myself, because there is a part of me that forgets that the rest of the world isn't necessarily like that. So I think it's just, I try to carry that sense of community everywhere I go as well with my music. I try to create, like, we are just regular people, you and I, you know what I mean? And we do certain things, and
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Who was your inspiration growing up that got you thinking about a music career, and which musicians are helping you now on this journey?
I think growing up, I didn't really have a specific person in mind that I was like, okay, I want to do music because of this person. For me, music was always something that I did just to express myself, and I enjoyed it, so I kept it to myself. And I was always somewhat of a closet singer, I guess you could say. But I admired Amy Winehouse and Adele. Very much loved that UK sound, and still very much do. So I say that's kind of where I got a lot of my inspiration from. I've spoke a little bit about it before, publicly and openly. I think now I don't necessarily look towards those very famous people. I think I look towards the people that are almost in the same area as me for inspiration, because I'm like, if you're working just as hard, like, I can do it. You know, I have good friends. I've made good friends in the industry now, and I look to them and I turn to them for motivation to keep going, for sure.
Well, that's great. And your music is already being featured in the film Nika and Madison, a film that we talked about on this show. Can you tell us when your album will be released and what listeners can expect?
Yeah, that was a very exciting opportunity. I was super happy about it. My album is probably going to be coming out early next year, which is Nehia Ways. That's what we like to call our New Year's. So for a new fresh start to the year, I'll be releasing my album. I was planning to release it at the end of 2025. However, I just decided that it'd be best to wait. So putting a little bit more energy into that when it is ready to be released to the world. I'm super excited. It's different. I think a lot of people are going to be surprised because, you know, Matriarch was so different from Mama, and then Relate was just, it has these different types of like rhythm and everything. And the next song that I'm doing, Sister Era, which is on Nika and Madison, is completely different, but at the same time very unison with all the other songs. So it's really cool. I'm very excited, and yeah.
Finally, we got about 20 seconds left, Love. What's your words of advice for other young Indigenous artists out there who want to start singing but don't know where to start?
I think if you have the means, look into getting into some type of programming. If you are able and you have access, definitely look out for those structured programs that will help you understand, you know, music theory and the industry and all that type of stuff. Get a mentor, get somebody that is a couple steps ahead of you, that has the time to tell you, hey, this is what I think you should do, and self-practice every day, sing every day, practice every day, explore different genres, you know, really find your niche so that you know yourself.
Love Tatus, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you for your time, and we wish you all the best on your album, and we can't wait to listen to it in November.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Have a good day.
Love, Res Girls represent. And that's your APTN National News for this Monday, September 8th. I'm TR Wheatley. It's been a pleasure to be here with you. I'll be back in this seat tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern for our daytime newscast. Until then, from all of us at APTN, Egasi, Gitom, Kawapamittananaw.